Distinguished delegates, dear friends, good morning to all of you. Let me express my sincere gratitude to Jagashan sir, who has given me this wonderful opportunity. As you all know, present day females, especially after the age of 50, they are very active in whatever field they practice. So also their needs increases as well as their menopausal problems also increases. So we have to cater their needs as well as we have to find solution to their problems. So here comes the role of HRT. So HRT was once an elixir of youth. Later, following various trials and studies, it created a lot of confusions and fear. And let us today see, where are we now in case of HRT? So we know that even our gorgeous Aishwarya Rai may one day change like this. So change or menopause. Menopause is also a change. So we have to make our females realize menopause is a change and that change is not at all a disease. So what is this HRT? Basically, it is only a medical treatment in surgically menopausal, perimenopausal as well as postmenopausal females. The aim is to replenish the circulating estrogen and progesterone in these menopausal ladies. Majority of our females live 40% of their life in the menopausal period. So there comes the importance of HRT in this present era. So we have already made females realize that menopause is only a change. But of course, postmenopausally they have a lot of problems. But that problems may not be comfortable for her. So what can we do for that? So mainly they can have hot flushes, they can have severe bone pains because of the osteoporosis. She can have mood changes, especially she will find difficulty to cope up with the colleagues in the workplace, etc. Then she can go in for cardiovascular problems. She can have urogenital problems, especially dryness, dyspareunia, and difficulties in sexual life. And of course, the beauty of the skin will be lost. Majority of our present-day females are very beauty conscious. So in this particular field, lot of studies and lot of trials has already been established. So the most important one among them was the Women's Health Initiative trial of US based, which was done in 2002. It's a WHI trial. And here they studied around 16,000 women of 50 to 79 year age group. And their purpose of that particular study was to identify the risk as well as the benefits of long-term HRT use. Unfortunately, the study has to be stopped prematurely because of the side effects of the drug itself. So they have come to a conclusion. According to them, they found that around 26% increased chance of invasive breast cancer in the trial group, around 29% increased risk of death from coronary artery disease, around 41% showed an increased risk of stroke, and around 200% increased chance of thrombosis in the HRT group. Following which, in UK also, a million women study was done. That is, around 1 million females was included in this particular study, and they also confirmed the findings of WHI. All this created the confusion regarding the HRT. So in this particular study also, they found that the risk of breast cancer was increased, as well as the risk of endometrial carcinoma is also more seen with tibolone use, whereas minimal risk is seen associated with ovarian cancers. The recent MHRA CHM advice, that is also a UK-based advisory board for medical drugs as well as medical instruments. So, according to them, the HRT should be used only after thorough evaluation of the particular patient. We have to consider the benefits as well as the risk of the treatment. And we have to individualize the patient, assess her properly, assess her general condition, her hormonal profile, her lipid profile, all those things. Carefully assess her, especially her cardiovascular conditions also. If she is more than 60 years, it should be doubly cautious. Assess her properly and then only start her on HRT. Whereas in young females, especially those who had already underwent premature menopause, the risk is less. And it is actually, this HRT part is useful for them and safe for them. So they have this NHRM has included their results in the drug safety update, which was published in the drug safety update. According to them, actually the results were all joining hands with the WHI or the Million Women study only. And they also found that in estrogen only HRT, the risk of breast cancers was found to be less, slight variation only, around 1.2 like that. Whereas in the estrogen progesterone group, the risk was found to be more regarding the breast cancers. And coming to the ovarian cancers, comparable results. Whereas it has better effects on osteoporosis, especially the fractures of the femur, vertebral fractures, etc. in both groups. So another one is the Nurses' Health Study of 2006. So there they stresses the importance of timing of hormone initiation. So when are you starting the HRT? If it is less than 1 year or more than 1 year after menopause or more than 5 years or 10 years after menopause, that the time period is very important. And the risk is more with estrogen progesterone positive cases of breast cancers. Then of course, as you all know, unopposed estrogen can increase the risk of endometrial hyperplasia and subsequent endometrial carcinoma. There is no increased risk with combined continuous regime according to them. And in hypertensive people, no increased risk was seen with estrogen-based HRTs, whereas in diabetic people, better glycemic control was observed with these regimes. And of course, in hypothyroidism, the dose of thyroxine was found to be need to be increased. So what are the benefits of HRT? Of course, it has a lot of benefits, especially it helps to relieve the vasomotor symptoms, hot flashes and so on. But whatever may be, you have to always bear in mind the lowest effective dose should be used for the shortest period of time. That should be the dictum behind starting HRT. Then coming to another important problem of menopausal women, osteoporosis. So it's of course beneficial in osteoporosis, but the problem is that once you stop HRT, the importance of or the benefit gained by the HRT for osteoporosis stops there. So it's better to think about other options for the osteoporosis management rather than giving her HRT. Of course, it is useful, but think about other options. There are a lot of options available nowadays. So coming to the various regimes. First is a combined regime. So here we use estrogen and progesterone in combination, and this is mainly acceptable for those with uterus. Whereas estrogen only HRT for those without uterus. Then coming to the progestogen part, there are 3 types of progestogens which we can commonly use. The first one is the one with high androgenic potency, that is a 19 NOR progesterone groups. Second is the one with moderate androgenic potency, that is a medroxyprogesterone acetate, that's the most favored one. Of course, those with high androgenic potency can give a more feeling of well-being for the females. Whereas the one with no androgenic potency, the progestogen with no androgenic potency at all, and that is the dydrogesterone and femastone, and both of them have more lipid friendly. Regarding the 2 regimes mainly, one is a cyclical regime and the other is a continuous combined regime. In cyclical regime, it is more acceptable, it's more applicable for females with menopause less than 1 year. It usually mimics a normal cycle. And of course, because of the hormone therapy, there will be less flow during periods. And mainly, it is acceptable for perimenopausal females. The only problem is that the chance of hot flushes will be more in this cyclical group. Whereas with the continuous combined group, it is usually given for menopause more than 1 year. And also for, if a lady is already on HRT after 1 year, already on HRT of cyclical regime for 1 year, after 1 year you can shift her to combined regime. And this is acceptable for ladies who are not expecting any withdrawal bleed in between, and mostly given for postmenopausal females. So if a lady is already on combined regime, if she gets breakthrough bleeding in between, it is better to, if that is not settling, you can wait for 3 to 6 months. If that is not settling, you can go back to the cyclical regime and give the cyclical regime for her for a minimum period of 1 year. Again, she becomes controlled with that cyclical regime. You can come back to the continuous regime. If she is bleeding erratically or heavy, we cannot control with any other thing, then try to increase the progesterone dose to 21 days. Usually it is given to 10 to 12 days of the cycle. If she is not getting controlled with all these methods, or if she is persistently bleeding for more than 6 months on HRT, she needs further evaluation. It's better to stop. So how will you give the preparations? In cyclical regime, you can give conjugated equine estrogen 0.625 milligram along with medroxyprogesterone acetate 10 milligram or any other progestins for 10 to 12 days of the cycle. So it gives good cycle control, it's good for young patients, but the chance of hot flushes will be more. Then in this particular area, the new low dose 20 microgram oral contraceptive pills can also be considered as an option according to latest studies. Then continuous regime. Here also we give conjugate requiring estrogen as well as medroxyprogesterone acetate 2.5 or 5 milligrams daily. It gives good compliance as well as it gives a complete amenorrhea. Then the only disadvantage is that she can go in for breakthrough bleeding. 40 to 60% chance of breakthrough bleeding in the first 6 months and around 20% chance after the period of 1 year. So what are the other options? Other than this oral therapy, you can consider hormonal patches. They have to be worn continuously, and usually they use norethindrone 0.14 milligrams or LNG 0.007 milligrams per day is used in those things. The newer patches need to be changed once or twice a week, but they are good for hot flushes also. Then another option is estrogen vaginal tablets as well as creams. It can be considered as a very good option, especially in women with recurrent urinary tract infections. These vaginal creams are useful. So they can be given, if she is so symptomatic, you can advise her to take every day for 2 weeks, and after that you can reduce the dose to twice a week, and which can be continued. Then another option is vaginal ring, which can be kept for a period of 12 weeks. Long-term safety about this vaginal ring is still debatable, and it's also good for the urogenital symptoms, sexual problems as well as recurrent urinary infection problems. Then another latest option is vaginal micronized progesterone gel, which we use in infertility. That 4% gel can be used twice weekly as part of the estrogen, along with the estrogen tablet in combined regime. Then another option is the progesterone releasing IUCDs, but it's all still under trial only. Then bioidentical hormone therapy, that's also under trial. So whatever medications, whatever hormone therapy you are prescribing her, a woman on HRT needs an yearly complete evaluation. That should be complete. It should include all her general profile as well as her lipid profile, cardiovascular profile, her mammographic examination and all those things, and of course an ultrasound also. So what all diet you can prescribe her? That's an easy thing. So you can tell her to take food rich in isoflavones, as well as you can tell her to take yams, soya beans, then she can have milk and meat, vegetables, everything she can take, but you should reduce the fats, oils, sugars and salt in her diet little bit. So another important problem is osteoporosis. For osteoporosis also, as I have already told, we can definitely give her HRT. But if you are thinking of in line of giving HRT to her, you can give her again conjugated equine estrogen in the 0.625 milligram dose, or estradiol preparations 1 to 2 milligrams, or a transdermal estradiol preparations 25 to 50 micrograms. Then you better consider other options. Like we can give bisphosphonates, that is alendronate, which can be given 5 milligrams daily. That is also good, especially for the prevention of vertebral fractures. Then parathormone is the latest one. This is a teriparatide therapy, and this parathormone is usually given as a daily subcutaneous injection, and which can be given for a period of maximum 3 years, because after that it increases the risk of osteosarcoma. Then another option is the SERMs, selective estrogen receptor modulators. According to the MORE trial, it can prevent the vertebral fractures, but not so good for the hip fractures, and also it's not good for the vasomotor symptoms. Then if you are prescribing her calcium, you should give her at least 1.5 grams per day if she is not on HRT. But if she is on HRT, 1 gram per day of calcium is enough. And vitamin D is everywhere in all the preparations nowadays, but she needs only around 700 to 800 international units per day. So coming to Tibolone, it acts like estrogen, progesterone and testosterone. It can relieve the hot flushes, as well as to some extent useful in preventing osteoporosis and as well as vaginal dryness. It creates a feeling of well-being because of its androgenic potential. That is the most important thing about Tibolone. Then it is indicated for women, menopausal women after 1 year, and also for post-hysterectomy cases for a period of 1 year or maximum 2 years after hysterectomy. Then actually Tibolone does not, according to latest studies, not much increase breast cancer risk or thrombosis, but it has an increased risk of stroke. So exercise is the most important thing. So we can tell her to have that is good not only for her menopausal problems but also for her general well-being. Mild brisk walking or yoga, some sort of mild exercise is good for her. What are the other alternatives? Already we have discussed her lifestyle changes, her exercise, and a proper reassurance to her. So make her understand that it's only a change. She has to cope up to some extent with the changes. Then vaginal lubricants, vaginal moisturizers are useful. Then of course the dietary supplements. What are the harms of HRT? It has increased the coronary artery disease risk if we are using HRT more than 10 years after menopause. The healthcare professionals should be very careful about assessing their risk. Then increased chance of ischemic stroke with estrogen only HRT, as well as it increases the risk of thrombosis. So what are the absolute contraindicated? It is absolutely contraindicated in those with undiagnosed vaginal bleeding, severe liver disease, coronary artery disease, those with venous thrombosis or early endometrial malignancies. And also for migrainous headaches, previous history of breast cancer, previous history of ovarian cancers, history of uterine fibroids, atypical ductal hyperplasia of the breast, and those with active GB disease. To summarize, 80% of the women experience menopausal symptoms, and in around 45% of them it is distressing. So for many women, lifestyle adjustments, education as well as reassurance is sufficient. So tibolone can be considered as an alternative, but you will always weigh the risk as well as the benefits. For always individualize the treatment when you give HRT. Then reassess the appropriateness of the treatment yearly. Treatment more than 5 years needs careful thought. So HRT should not be continued or should not be started for prevention of heart disease. Always consider alternative options for prevention of osteoporosis. So whatever method or whatever regime you are giving, always stick on to the policy, lowest possible dose for the shortest period of time. So let us think that we can make our females realize the change, as well as we can make her the change in a advise her to take the change in a positive way. Thank you all for your patient hearing.